concepts of this object-oriented programming, because whatever programming you will do tomorrow, that is purely object-oriented, and I'll show you the basic concepts what you are going to use tomorrow. Those are coding. So before proceeding there, you should know the basic concepts, why you are writing that, why you are doing that. So this is my, I'm opening this. So continue without code. Okay. So, sorry. 7 screen. So here, let me create a project file, new project. Now, we are basically going on this paradigm, this model view controller. So I am creating a simple project. From here, I will explain why we are learning this. What is the motto of going this taking this class? I will explain from there. So I am making a test website just to show what are the concepts. Okay. So I'm giving a simple name, and the location is here, and the solution name is here. Place the solution and project in the same directory. I'm just taking it. Then next, see here, there are some concepts which we are going to cover. Also, this part is one of that. See the concepts. One framework it is clear. .NET 8. So I'll from this first line itself, I'll start saying why what we are going to study today. This is framework given what is that is the .NET 8.0 LTS long term support. So what is this framework and what are these things we are going to discuss in this slide. So this is the introduction to .NET framework. So why it is required? Whenever we are running any before going to this code, whenever we are running any web application, we need a framework. We need a framework for that. So what is that framework? The .NET framework is a software development framework developed by Microsoft that provide a runtime environment and a set of libraries and tools for building and running an application on the Windows operating system. You must be knowing whenever you are writing some C program or C++ program, initially you are compiling that. So after compiling, whenever you are running that, there are some runtime libraries. Those are called DLLs. Those are being linked with your program and you are running them. You must have seen that. Yes or no? While running or after compiling, you can see your program code is number of lines is increasing. From where it is coming, whenever your DLLs and your program, some other files have been associated with the program to run it. Suppose C out. Let us go to your C++. From there we come here. C out. You are writing C out. So if you are writing C out here, will it recognize? No, because that is not here in the compiler or interpreter or any concept we are using. Because in your C or C++, there C out is defined. So for that reason, you have to include what? Something called IOStream. You are doing that or not? So you are including those things. Online participants, is the screen visible and am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for that reason, you are including that iostream.h, conio.h, those files are including. So here, same concept is there. Same concept is there. So whenever you are running a program, whenever after compiling, after debugging it, whenever you are running in the application server, so what happens? Some DLL files, some required files are being associated, so that your program can run smoothly. So that is called your framework in this case. So whenever you're hosting a program, you need to install that framework. On that framework, that application will only run. Because for the sake of understanding, suppose I am saying Telugu, I am saying Telugu, but if people are unable to understand Telugu, okay. So if I'll start saying delivering the lecture in Telugu, so will you able to understand it? You need something in between, which will convert my language to your preferred language. It is not the exact example, just for the sake of understanding. So we are installing that framework so that some DLLs will come and integrate with the program, and our program will run seamlessly. Clear? Yes, sir. So this is the concept. So here we are choosing .NET 8. So before that, what is the history? Where whenever we are using that waveform technologies, there we are using .NET framework. Okay. So what is the difference for in this technology and the old technology? Nowadays, everyone is searching for open source, cross-platform. But whenever you're going to that Windows form, we need to host that in a Windows environment. Clear? But that was the drawback of the Microsoft. So Microsoft was drowning day by day. So they planned to go for this open source and cross-platform. That's why they redesigned everything so that it will be a open source. It will be a cross-platform technology. Yeah. So for that reason, so .NET framework it was older version. So nowadays .NET Core. We're not calling it .NET Core. It's .NET Core or simply .NET. The name we can say that simply .NET. Nowadays we are saying not saying .NET framework 4.5, 5.0, 8.0. .NET. .NET means .NET Core by default. So .NET Core, which evolved just after version 5, and it is cross-platform. That's why we are going here. See, .NET 8.0, it is not written .NET Framework. Is it written? So why? Because the convention is .NET 8.0 from the latest version from this whenever the core is evolved from there we are saying it as .NET. But on the previous versions, whenever you see in your system, just try to go through that. Whenever you create the waveform, in that technology you can see .NET Framework 4.5 or 5 that is there. But here .NET 8 means .NET Framework 8. Clear? It is one. That's why we are using this framework. Then .NET programming languages. Part of the programming languages, it is about the framework, and what the languages C#, .NET, VB.NET, C++.NET, JSAP, Ruby on Rails. So many other programming languages are there. Java, and we are using this C#. Right? There are so many languages. The language is it is not a big deal. Whenever you learn the syntax, you can write code on that. So till now you must have learned so many languages, QBasics, then that Java, then this C++, C. So you must have seen everything is same. Simple difference is your syntax, your language syntax, and but the concept is same. Nowhere 3 plus 2 is equal to 5 in no programming language 3 plus 2 can be 9. Is it possible? No, because logic is same everywhere. You need to know the logic. Then coding is it is very easy for you. After that, then these are the various programming languages. It is not. But now we'll go to the concepts. OOPS concepts: class and object. It is object oriented, so everything is class. Whatever you see now, we'll go one step ahead here and we'll say. See next is what authentication configure HTTPS. It is known to you. Then it is known to you. Now we'll go to this one. Do not use top level statement. So what is the top level statement? Whenever you are writing your C++ programming or C programming, there is a main function. In your class, your teacher must have told you your main function, the program will not run, you have to keep a main function. Main function has some arguments, string arguments in your Java, and in that there are two arguments in C or C++. Something like that? Yes or no? So here that is top level statement. We are saying that do not use top level statement. If you will use that top level statement, main function will be there. Because we don't need that. Everything is encapsulated in the class. We don't need to write the explicitly the main function. So we are just unchecking this. Do not use top level statements. These are the concepts. Okay. So after that, we'll proceed and we'll just create. I'm just creating it so that I can show you see the language C#, Linux, there are various operating systems it is showing and where you can use it. C# is the language and these are the various OS where you can host it. So it is cross from Linux, Mac OS, Windows. Can you see or not? Whatever we have studied, that's where we are going to do. Close it. Now not going to the database class. Just close it. Now it is open. Now I will create. See, go to the solution file. Then, okay, just don't see the concept. I'm just reading it. Whenever I say it, then you can say. Everything is a class over here. Suppose I'm creating a class. I'm giving a name over here. Just creating a class. Course. Here. Okay. So now we have written this much. Now I will go to the slide and explain why it is and why we require this. Now come. Now whose concepts it is clear to you, but why we are brushing it again? Because with respect to our coding, why you are using it exactly, that's why we are brushing it up. Because you know very well what is class, what is object. We must have written so many exams on that. Now class and object. Basically, a class combines the fields and methods that you call the member functions and data members. It is already known to you. Okay. So now we'll see here. So it is my class, public class my name. Okay. So inside that I can declare a data member. I can declare a member function. Yes or no? It is already known to you. Suppose it is one right public. Go ahead. Okay. So what is it? It is a member function. It is a member function. These are the data members. Suppose here I will write index. Index. Okay. It is a data member and it is a member function. Okay. So this is what we are trying to explain over here. It combines member functions and data members into a single unit. So what is the object? Object is a alias of a class. Suppose I am saying a car is a class, then I will say Mercedes is a alias of a class. It is a type of car. Yes or no? Similarly, whenever I am saying here a class, whenever I am saying here, suppose it is a class. Suppose I say this is a class. Means it must have some data members and some member functions. So that data member and member function, whenever I create the object, I will get an alias of that. I will get an alias of that, so that I can use that in my context. Suppose it is a account. Account is a class. Here account number is there. Okay. Balance is there, and suppose deposit can be a function. Deposit is a function. Then withdraw can be a function. So I can call these two as data members. These are member functions. So this class encapsulates this data member and member function. Here, that is the concept of encapsulation. So whenever I am creating an object, suppose I have an account. Suppose I have an account. Okay. So my account will be the object of this account class. Yes or no? So my account must have an account number. It must have some balance. These two functionalities, deposit, withdraw, and so many other functionalities are accessible in my class, in my account. Yes or no? So my account is a type of bank account. Clear? So my account is a, I can say it is an object of that class. This is the basic concept of class and object. Okay. Now I'll go to the practical thing, the coding part. There will explain what is that class. So here this is my public class my name. So if I want to access any data member of this class, I have to create the object of this class. Then I can access it. Listen. So this is the concept we are going to start. In C#, a class can be defined by using the class keyword. So already we have defined here the class. Object class my name. Class space class name. Okay. See here. This is the class space class. Here this example class student. A class can contain one or more constructor fields, methods, properties, therefore class name. Already I have shown you the visuals, data members and member functions. So you see, it is an example given over here. Class student, private string name. So this is a data member. Here, it is a data member, and see public void set name. It is a method or the member function. So, it is another member function. Public string get name. It is another method set name get name. Here, now it is another example given. It is a using system and public class test, which is that public is the access specifier. Okay. And class is the keyword, test is the class name. These are two data members and these are two member functions. Display is the member function and it is a top level statement that you say that public static void main. In your program you might not see it because you are unchecking that option. Top level statements. So you and the top level statements you are unchecking this. That's why that main function is not showing. Here, if you check that, so top level statements, then this line will be there. Public static void main. In Java, you must have seen this public static void main string arguments. Yes or no? That is called command line argument. Then we'll go to objects. An object holds the data and can access the methods and their properties. This is the best example. Whatever I have told. If I create an object of this account class, I can access the data accordingly. Suppose I create an object for my account, we will create object for your account. Those two are they will take different memory space. I cannot access my object can access your data memory. Your object can access my data memory. That is concept of data abstraction. So whatever your friend list, I can see your friend list if you are hiding that. Is it the real life scenario or not? In Facebook, I don't want to show my mutual friends. I will make settings. Yes or no? That means you cannot say who are my mutual friends. That is concept of data abstraction. Those are being implemented using these concepts. Clear? Is it making sense? Now we'll go here. So here an object is created. How to create an object? Class name space object name is equal to new. We use the new keyword to create the object. Class name space object name is equal to new, then class name. Very frequently you are going to use it because everything is class here, everything is object here. You have to create the object to access the class. So how to access that? My student dot set name. It is a function. I am calling that function via the object. Yes. So here get name and set name are two functions. Then namespace. What is namespace? You see here. I am using namespace test.models or not. So here namespace test.model. So you see here test is my solution name, right? Okay. So model is the folder. I am accessing these MyDB is here. So I am writing this namespace test.model. So before that, you should know what is that namespace because very frequently you are going to use it, the namespace. Okay.
So it is like backend like we're using.
Exactly. Excellent. Perfect. A namespace is a container that there you are importing. In Java you are importing. Import language, import math package, everything. That is very similar. Got it right. Very perfect. A namespace is a container for classes and namespaces. The namespace also gives unique name to its class. Thereby, you can have the same class name in different namespaces. So, before going this concept, we'll see practically. See, multiple classes in a single namespace. Suppose here I am declaring a namespace called school. Namespace school. Here it is one class. It is another class. Okay. In my namespace, I have precompiled things. I have programs. I will see here. Another namespace and address. Namespace is the model. Any namespace, you can go to the definitions. Any namespace or anything, suppose I want to go to some definition, I'll open another page where it is there. Controller, controller, controller. It will take some time and it will take you to the appropriate page. So then you can see. See, we are using some features. And the namespaces where you are defining that. Here there are so many classes. Public dynamic, viewback, public visual, JSON result, so many things. You don't need to learn all these things. I'm just showing you the concepts. See, it is the package. Namespace Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.mbc. It is a namespace. It is declared. So it contains so many classes. Okay, so many classes, and we will use that namespace whenever we require. Okay, so that is called the namespace. Here the namespace, importing the namespace in other class. How we can import it? By using system, using school. Here we have imported so many things using system.threading.task. So what is that system? We are using that namespace. Yes or no? So now I want to see what is that. Go to the definition. So what is the system? It is not going to take me. It is not taking me. You can see everything defined over here. So you can see it is the combination of all the classes, various classes defined in the namespace. So here there are two classes. In the example I have shown you, there are so many classes. That is in namespace, and in this way you can use it. Using system, it is a built-in namespace, and this is school. Using school is a user-defined namespace. It is a namespace. Namespace school. Here we have defined two classes. But in real life, you can see there are so many classes. There are so many classes defined here. Where we have been to this ASP.NET Core.mbc.view features. From here, controller. From this controller, we have been here. From here, controller. What is controller? You can see that. ASP.NET Core. Everything is defined in a namespace. And if you want to use that, you have to use using namespace. It is another namespace C#. It is whatever you are writing now. Here you are using the system and the school. There are two built-in. One is built-in namespace. Another one is namespace whatever you have created here. It is for the sake of example. Now you can see here in my namespace, in my program, I am trying to access the members of this system and members of this school namespace. You can see here public void get student. It is my program. Student state is equal to new student. That means I can access anything whatever I have imported. Similarly, in your Java, you are importing that which package? Suppose math package. You can use the mean, median, all those functionalities. If it is not there, you cannot access. As in Python, you are suppose I want to draw a chart. I am importing what? PyPlot. Yes or no? You must have gone to that. I am importing PyPlot, and by using that, I am using an object of that plot. Then plt.show. There I am writing the arguments to draw the chart, bar chart, bar chart, pie chart, all these things. Clear, scatter chart. I can use them. So that means I need to import the namespace for using the functionalities of that namespace. Clear? If I will not import, then how can the system know that what I am writing? Okay. That's how we're using this namespace. Then constructor. What is constructor? Constructor, you already know. Constructor is a special method of the class which gets automatically invoked whenever the instance of the object class is created. So what is the use of that? Constructor is used to initialize the data of that class. Clear? Now I'll show you constructor here. The real program, whatever you are doing. Suppose I am cutting it to get set. Right, just to write that, and go to I'll create a constructor. See here. Suppose another class. Folder. This is inside there. Everything is class. You can see .cs is the class, home control C sub class. Everything is class. Inside service, suppose I am adding another class. Text. Suppose interface is also there. Class. Suppose I am for the timing I am in a class. It is my class. And see here the class name is now everything is it clear or not? Namespace. It is my namespace. I am adding here. Some packages are by default included. What extra package I need, I have to include them. Now I will show you. See, network services. Here, suppose I am going to create a constructor. I will create a constructor. There are basic properties. The constructor name is same as the class name. These concepts you know very well in a C++. Or Java. Okay. Concept is same. So now I'll create a constructor over here. How can I write a CTOR tab? Constructor is there. I don't need to write it. Okay. For the property, write prop tab. The properties will be generated. You know this is right, Jagger? Huh? But that is from the because whenever I code, these are different. So here I'm writing CTOR constructor. The constructor is automatically declared. Public MyDB context. See, the class name is MyDB context. Here the constructor name is MyDB context. Yes or no? From that I can know that it is a constructor. The class name, the constructor name. The constructor name is same as the class name. Clear? So here the class name is MyDB context. So it is creating the constructor in the same name, public MyDB context. So here what can I do? I can initialize the data member of the class. Suppose here I am creating a data member private only MyDB context. Don't go the big by the big names. Just go the concept. Private is the access modifier, and just read only. Forget this read only. Suppose it is not there. And MyDB context is a class. Okay. So that means now I have told you the concept of object. Now here itself I am creating a type. This underscore context is a type of MyDB context. Now suppose I want to initialize that. So here what can I do? Underscore context is equal to whatever data member I will pass here in the constructor. I'll assign that. Suppose here for the timing I'm writing new. Otherwise, suppose MyDB context here I will pass some int x. Okay, and here forget this big names. I'll just call int y. Is it okay? Here I would like to initialize. What I'll do, y is equal to x. Is it making sense? That means I am trying to initialize the data member of the class y with the value that is provided via the constructor. Constructor is used to initialize the data member of the class. Now we'll go to the concept here. So the constructor of a class must have the same name as that of the class name. Basic concept. Okay, a class can have any number of constructors. A constructor doesn't have any return type. See here, is there any return type? No return type. इसका काम ही कुछ नहीं है, काम ही initialize करना. So it is used to initialize the data. Okay. So when it is created, when the constructor is input, whenever we are creating the object of the class, the constructor is input automatically. Yep. See here, student obj is equal to new student. Whenever I am writing this line, the default constructor is invoked. Yep. So what is default constructor? There are various types of constructor: default constructor, parameterized constructor, copy constructor. So many types of constructor are there. Okay. So now we'll cover these two concepts because copy constructor is is a type of parameterized constructor. You are passing in that of the constructor. You are passing the alias of the class. That means you are passing an object. So we'll categorize into two types: default constructor, parameterized. What is default constructor? In the default constructor, there is no parameter. See, that's going to be any parameter. It is default. Whenever I initialize, the default constructor is called by creating the object. But if I pass parameter, I'll call that as parameterized constructor. You see here, it is an example of parameterized constructor. Default constructor is not given here. Default constructor is whenever you are not giving any parameter, simple this much. It is a default constructor. I'll call it. There is no parameter. It is a default constructor. And when it will be called? It will be called whenever I'll create the object of the class. Yes. So let us see. When I'll create the object of the class, I'm deleting it. Right? Delete. Suppose here something is initialized. Y is equal to right? Y is equal to 20. Delete. In SBI, there is a rule whenever your account will open, there must be 3,000 or 5,000 minimum balance. Whenever your account is opened, I'll call this constructor. That means whenever I'm creating the object of the class, at that point of time, a constructor will be invoked, and here I'll initialize the minimum balance is equal to 3,000. Yes or no? If you give 3,000 rupees, then you will invoke the parameter and your account will be otherwise. Yeah. Clear? So this is the basic example. You can think in that scenario. People know how it is my MindDB context. Suppose I would like to show you how I am invoking that. My home controller, mind C. Using and test. You can see everything is showing here. So here, so what I like models. No, it is in the service folder. Yes or no? How dynamic is it? You see. Now it is not. These are not system defined things. The system.diagnostics, Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.mbc, these are system defined. But here in your presence, here I have created a folder called service. Inside that I have created a class. Yes or no? So now it is taking it as namespace and I would like to include it. So how I'll include it? That's why we are studying that namespace part and how to use that namespace. So what we are writing using test dot. What is test? It is the solution name, project name. Okay. Inside that test, where my DB context is there, inside service folder. So what I write test dot. Inside test, everything is showing. Controller, model, services. So where I'll go? Services. Because inside service folder, my required resource is there. Okay. Dot. No more, it is required because inside services, whatever I'll include that. Now I'll show you. Suppose here, I'd like to set my. It is showing you my DB content. From where it is coming? Because I have included that using test.services. I have included that. Now, for the sake of example, for the sake of testing, Control KC for commenting. Control KC. Now I have commented it. Now see, it will show you. My DB still is showing. How you getting test.models? I will also comment it Control KC. Context. Yes. Facebook services. Now see, I have commented it. See, I have this line was not there. It is taking it automatically. Whenever I'm trying to write, it is so much intelligent surface. That means system can know that yes, that is there in the test.services folder. See, here I have commented that. Yes or no? It is again including that test.services. Because of this intelligent service. It is getting that yes, that MindDB context is in the service folder. That's why it is included using test.services. Understand this because whenever you code, you need to include that. Whatever required resource, the required resource you need to include it using the resource address. Here, solution name, that means the project name test dot the folder name where your resource resides. Here, that is default constructor. That means whenever I call this, I write this db context space db. At that point of time, this part is input. This part is input. Y equal to. Here, then parameterized constructor. In the parameterized constructor, we pass parameters. As I have shown here, suppose this value would be int x, int x. Here I am suppose whenever I am calling here, so how can I call it? It is the object of the this db. I'll call this db within bracket. Here I'll pass the. Here I have to pass the parameter. Suppose I'll pass 20. So what will happen? What will happen? Here this part will be called and x value will be 20 and y value will be assigned as 20. Here, shown here, string n, class test, string n, int I. Here test. See what is this test? It is a normal member function. It is a constructor because the class name is test and the function name, member function name is test. Here, this is a constructor. Which type of constructor? Default constructor. Yes, it is a parameterized constructor. Which is okay. But it is a parameterized constructor. Here I am passing parameters. One string parameter, one integer parameter. So what this dot n is equal to n means this means calling this total report to this one. That means now where you are, you are inside the constructor. That means I am saying constructor that this dot n, that means wherever I am, मेरा जो n है उसका वैल्यू किससे इनिशियलाइज होगा? बाहर का जो n मिला है. So ये this dot n किसका है? It belongs to the class string n. Is it making sense? Then this dot n, this is the data member of this class. In the current context where you are, this dot n is equal to n. What is this n? This n is the parameter. Its name can be different to make it differences. It is the formal parameter. Suppose norm. So if I write string norm here, then what I will write is this dot n is equal to norm. Here, then this dot I is equal to I. Clear? In this way, I am initializing the data members of the class by using the constant. Clear? Initialize y is equal to x. Y is the data member of this is equal to x. X is the MariaDB context that the parameter whatever I have passed. Suppose think of a scenario whenever you are creating your account and you are depositing 1 lakh rupees. So we SBI assign 3,000 rupees whenever you are opening your account. No, he has to deposit 1 lakh. So here you will pass 1 lakh. And what will happen? 1 lakh will be assigned to your account. Here, so that is what we call as parameterized constructor. Here. And here it is the main function, public static void main. As you are not including the top level statements, that main function is not visible to you. If you import that will be visible. It is not. Test object is equal to new test. See here, how I am calling the parameterized constructor. I will call the default constructor. Simply I write test obj is equal to new test. Okay. But if I write, if I have a parameterized constructor, you must be knowing function operator. Same function name with different signature, different parameters, different type. Okay. These are the concepts you are going to use it. So public static void main Inside that I am writing test obj is equal to new test cat1. Why? Because the signature of the constructor here is one string, one integer. So I have to pass accordingly. Cat1, cat is one string parameter, one is an integer parameter. Oh, is it clear? But think of a scenario if I have only test, no parameter is here. Think of a scenario. So how I would have called the constructor? Simple. A line upon him. How to change different this line? Test. Louder. Test. Oh, forward. Simple to create an object. Test, object name is equal to new text. There is no parameter because suppose I'm saying about the scenario where there is no parameter in this constructor, default constructor. So how I will call it? Test obj is equal to new test. Simple. It is as simple as that. Whenever parameter is there, you have to pass the parameter. Clear? In console.write line, it is showing the name, it is showing the object. It is not o.n. You have to write obj.n. Then properties. See, properties why it is required. Suppose I have a data member. Suppose I have a data member here. Now come. These are the data member. So suppose here I have declared index. Suppose right. Now who can access the private data member? Who can access the private data member? Okay. कौन प्राइवेट डाटा मेमोरी को एक्सेस कर सकते हैं? दो क्लास में 3 क्लास में मेंबर फंक्शन को एक्सेस करते हैं, है ना? बाहर के एक्सेस करते हैं. Here, same concept will be applied over here. Suppose here I have declared private int y. So who can access it? The data member of this class. Suppose I want to access it outside. So what I do? I create an object of this class, and that object I will access the member function because directly I can't access. Where that object I will access the member function, and from the member function I will make access. I will try to access the private data. It is the concept. Yes or no? Then how can I do it? I am doing by using this concept, but there is a concept called properties. Here, whatever I have used, get set. These are properties. So via that property, what is the facility why we are using that? See here. Access modifier, return type, property name. How we declare the property? This is the syntax for defining the property. Get set. In get, as the name suggests, I am assigning some value to that particular property, and via set I am assigning some value. Via get and so now see here. I go to the example. Then we go to the concept. See, using system. Then here public class student, private int roll number. See, it is a private data member. In order to access this data member, I need to create the object of the class, student class. Then there should be a public member function accessing the private data member. Okay. Then only I can access. Public, if it will be public, everyone can access. If it will be protected, then the initial data member, the child classes can access that. Yes, sir. So leave the concept. Now the concept is done. Private int roll number. So I need to access this. I need so many things. One public member function and another wherever I am trying to access it. Another I have to create an object. Via that object I will access the member function, and from that member function I will access the What? Private data member. This is the scenario. With my class, it is my private data member. Okay, something. Then, in order to access this, I need a public. Suppose member of public get name, something like that. I'm not writing the proper sentence. Here I am accessing this things. Outside the class, whenever I would like to access it, I have to create the object. Suppose this name is student. So I'll get student s is equal to new student here. So after that, this by using this s, I'll call whom s dot get name here. That means it is calling this. Directly can call here. Here via this I'm trying to access the value. Okay. So if there is a concept, why I need to do like this? I can start to guide it. Yes, sir. So that concept is we will implement here. See, here it is the private data member. Clear? Then here I have declared the property. Public int roll number. See, it is not a function. Is it a function? Because that parenthesis bracket of secret. So from that we can know this function. It's not a function. Public int roll number. The syntax is here. Access modifier, return type, property name. No parenthesis. So public int roll number. Here get set. What is that get set? You must be familiarized with this because काली अगर पढ़ा है get set देखिए मुझे get set दिया ठीक है छोड़ सकता हूँ ऐड देखो get set see that's why I've created here and showing there you will be familiarized you will not be confused so here see public int student ID get set so what does this mean I am declaring a property so how to declare it see here property PROT tab it is a property so you have to change accordingly change your data member your member name and the type here and delete here so what is this get set you should know that see get okay, inside get what I have done return roll number that means I am getting the roll number I am getting the roll number here I am getting the roll number set I am setting some value to the value it is simple as simple as that so here in the set what I am doing roll number is equal to value. I am assigning the value. Clear? Now, public student. What is this? What is this student? Public student is what? It's a constructor. It is a constructor. Constructor public student. It is a parameterized constructor. Int roll number. I am passing because whenever I say the value whatever I am going to set, I'll pass that. Yes or no? I'll pass that by using this constructor. So how can I call the constructor? I'll create the object. Student class का object किसे बनाना है? Student s is equal to new student within bracket. I'll pass data number I need. So what I need here? I need the roll number. I'll pass the roll number. Is it making sense? Is it clear to everyone? These concepts you are going to chew from tomorrow night. Every day because creating the object, passing parameters, accessing that it is a very common thing. So get familiar with it, get set. Okay. So here I am getting the value. Here I am setting the value. I have this public student in roll number. This dot roll number is equal to roll number. This dot roll number means the roll number of this. This roll number is equal to which roll number? Int roll. Whatever I have passed in the constructor. Here. Then it is another class where I am trying to access it. Public class test, public static void main, top level statement. Student obj is equal to C. The same scenario, whatever we are talking about. Student, so obj is the object of the which class? Car class. Student. Good. Student obj is equal to new student within bracket. I am passing the parameter as required. The constructor requires one parameter. One integer parameter. That's why I am passing one integer parameter. Here. So try to understand the concept. Here I am in another class, test class. The student class. Here I am in test class. From the test class, I am setting the value. Roll number, obj.roll number. I am printing. Then here I am calling via the constructor C. Here I am calling directly. Obj.roll number is equal to 1, 2, 3. How is it possible? Roll number is a C. It is a private data member. Okay, private data member. But I am accessing that to C. It is not same. Its name can be different. It is small roll number. It is capital. It is case sensitive. Clear? So here what I am doing, I am accessing this roll number via this roll number. You are assigning value to this roll number, but that is in turn being assigned to the private int roll number. Clear? That concept is here. See, here I am calling what? Obj.roll number, capital R, is equal to 123. So from here, share this thing. You share button. This is going access me agency. It was login position online. Can get set over.
Very important class. Concept of
खाली गेट सेट होगा से कांसेप्ट रखा हो जे कुआ हो बुझी जो हां ठीक है obj.roll number 123. So from here see roll number, from here the control will jump to where? Put is obj.roll number is equal to 123 means here. So this here from this roll number it is being assigned to this roll number. Clear? That means you are setting the value, you are getting the value. Here I am telling obj.roll number, it will show me the actual value. Clear? Then access modifier. It is already known to you. Modifiers is public, private, protected. जो बाहर में है public, जो ड्राइंग रूम में है वो protected, जो मेरे घर के अंदर कमरे के अंदर है बेडरूम में वो है ना. As simple as that. So simple thing in real life. So come to this concept. There are three types of modifiers: public, private, protected. अभी मैं क्या करूँगा, मैं गाड़ी लाके बाहर रख के चलाऊँगा, तो कोई आया हम तो चला पब्लिक प्रॉपर्टी हो गया मेरे घर के अंदर, मेरे घर के अंदर, तो कौन लेता है? मेरे घर के लोग लेते हैं. अभी मेरे रूम के अंदर मैं लेकर तो कौन लेता है? जो मेरा रूम को जिसको एक्सेस, दैट इज प्राइवेट. Similarly, if that is public, private, protected, entire program can access public, सबको खुला है, yes, सब access कर पाएगा. Private, entire program नहीं access कर पाएगा, it is not accessible. Then containing the class, in the class it is accessible. Nowhere it is accessible. See, it is only accessible inside the has a member. Okay. Then protected. Protected see, entire program is to access नहीं because ये मेरे घर के अंदर है. It is inside my room, not in my bedroom. In my room, in my living room, my friend can access it. You must have seen the concept of friend concept, friend class, friend function in your C++. No, that is not there because C++ is not completely object-oriented. These C#, Java, they are completely object-oriented. There is no friend. कोई दोस्त नहीं है. Can function नहीं. So here we can do that thing via inheritance. Okay. So we can access the content in the class. Inside the class it is accessible, and derived classes. Derived class. The child class. In the child class you can access the protected data. Clear? What you cannot get this private. Okay. So this is access to infer and where it can be accessed. The internal life is only the is not for the timing. Okay. So there are some other concepts. We'll brush it up next. We just go through these concepts because these are going to be useful in your development. These are the concepts. Then the abstraction is we'll cover it. Abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance. In inheritance, whatever you will inherit from this context, I am saying, if it is protected, it can be accessed. If it is public, it can be accessed. But if it is private, again you have to do the same work. The data member is there. You create an object, access the data member via that data member is access the private. Okay. So why these things are implemented in order to make them secure. Here. Decoder and concept. You know, the concept whatever in get set we have written here. So these are all predefined. See here, get set it is writing whenever we are declaring the property. Why we are not saying it as data member, only data member? Because these are properties. These are called properties. There is a difference. If it is private, you cannot access the data member is private. But here we are declaring property. That property should be public. You can access that via get set. Okay. That's why these are properties. But if I write here int x, it's a data member. Here it has some certain drawbacks. It has certain drawbacks. So I can't. It is not that much friendly to me. That's why I am declaring the property. See, I'm showing the importing part that using namespace part. Here I have declared the services. The MyDB context, public class MyDB context. Get familiarized. In which namespace? Namespace services. ମୁଁ ତ ଲେଖିଛି ଲେଖିନି ନା ମୁଁ କଣ କରିବି ମୁଁ ଏଠି ଖାଲି କ୍ରିଏଟ୍ କରିବି ଡାଟା ମୋର ଏଟା ମୁଁ ଯଦି ଏମିତି କରିଛି ନା ସର୍ଭିसेସ୍ ରାଇଟ୍ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରି କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଗୋଟେ କ୍ରିଏଟ୍ କରିବା ସୋ ସିଷ୍ଟମ୍ କଣ କଲା ସିଷ୍ଟମ୍ ମୋତେ ଗୋଟେ ନେମସ୍ପେସ୍ ବନେଇଲା ନେମସ୍ପେସ୍ ଡ୍ୟାଶବୋର୍ଡ ସର୍ଭିसेସ୍ ତାମାନେ ଏ ସର୍ଭିसेସ୍ ଫୋଲ୍ଡରରେ ମୁଁ ଯାହା ରଖିବି everything is in the namespace डैशबोर्ड सर्विस so आ ଭିତରେ ଥିବା ଯୋଉ ଜିନିଷ ମୁଁ ଆକ୍ସେସ୍ କରିବାକୁ ଚାହିଁବି if you would like to access anything online participants, are you getting the concepts? Rachita and Dipsika?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now see here, namespace test.services, it is created automatically. So in order to access this class, so I have to write here test.services. Getting it is the namespace. Here I am using it. Here I am using it. Getting for the statement. Getting it is called intelligence service. It was a change. See, these are only two namespaces are here. Here I am trying to write. See, till now also there are two. MyDB context. I am pressing tab. So it is very easy to code. That's why we are covering these concepts. You know namespace, you know everything. But in context to this environment, it might not be familiar with you. That's why we are making it familiar. Now go through the concepts and we'll brush up the other concepts. You practice it, but the practical application is here. Whenever you code it. Yes. Let's take a namespace using these are the practical applications. आगे जो इतना हम मतलब confuse हो कि सारे डॉक्टर कहीं लिखा है using test.services कहीं इसमें लिखा है for this is written because that those things whatever you are using inside the program they are in that namespace. A familiar is here where कभी हो ही हो देखा है वो it is the data memory declare already just to database code input code class approach you will create this class. This class you can call it as an alias of your database table. Whatever data is in table here your faculty is going to create. So it is available. Suppose if you use ADB, we are not going to use that because it might be difficult for you. So in code first approach, you have to write this way. So get familiar, get set. That's why we're familiar. These are the concepts. Okay, ଭଲ ଦେଖି କାଲି ଦରକାର ହବ ଏଠି ଲେଖା ରେଡି ଟେଷ୍ଟ ଡଟ୍ ମଡେଲ୍ସ କାଲି ତୁମେ କଣ କରିବ କୋଉ ଜିନିଷ କାଲି ଏରର ଆସିଲେ ମନେ ପଡିବ you will try you will write a constructor controller over here in the controller you will write this but it is not there sir it is showing error so you should know why the error is coming see here again there is the system is so much intelligence it is showing so potential fixes ये आपको सॉल्यूशन भी देगा देखो यूजिंग टेस्ट डॉट सर्विस दिया कि नहीं ये जितना तक आपको मदद करता है उतना आपको मदद कर रहा है उसके बियॉन्ड आपको करना चाहिए दिमाग आपको लगा टाइम मार दो काम करो तो क्लिक कर दो this concept must be handled I'm sharing this for your reference I'm putting it in the common folder the common folder in the right what is the name Intercept 2024 14 February 2025 there is a folder and inside that folder uploading and upload and download this are part 1 is a PDF file and tag answer there and go to the concepts don't just go by the code try to get familiar with your environment because it is it will be helpful you tomorrow then only can relate the concept. Thank you.